Let's say that you scanned everything in or took photos of stuff instead and you want to assemble everything. It's a pretty straightforward process. Go ahead and make a new document, and this document will be 8.5 inches wide, 11 inches tall, and 150 pixels, RGB 8-bit. I'm going to go ahead and leave the background white. We're going to have 3 groups. They're going to be the thumbnails group, the roughs group, and the comp group. We're going to save this using the standard naming convention. In this case, this is my second iteration, so it'll be 2. So it'll be 13 dash your last name dash your first name dash, and then however many numbers you need to iterate what you're doing. Go ahead and tell it okay. You'll go to your images that you've scanned or photographed, and you'll put them in the appropriate places, and you'll resize them appropriately. So for example, if I just drag and drop this thing, you'll see that it's actually right about right size. So I'm going to move it into the thumbnails group, call it thumbnails, and this is all of them, 1 through 25, but they're kind of hard to see. So I'm going to, now I would recommend doing this actually, a non-destructive edit first, and when you're ready to turn it in, flatten all those guys down. Yeah, something like that. So if you're like, oh yeah, that's perfect, at the end of this, you'll Control E to merge down one. I'm on levels. And that way you'll have just the one image. I don't want a whole bunch of adjustment layers in here. I literally wanted to fling this open and get straight to the meat of the pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my first rough that's been scanned in. And I'm going to grab just a marquee tool, copy that, and then I'm going to go over to roughs, paste in my rough. You can see it's far, far too large. So I'm just going to resize this. Now, if you want, you can convert it to a smart object first and then resize it. That's perfectly fine. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot a step. What was that step, everybody? That step is going to your thumbnails and then picking the 4 that you are going to do comps of and circling it with the red pencil. So I'm just going to grab some red, and the color doesn't really matter as long as it's red. Get the pencil. I'm going to hold down the shift key so that I can just make that without any hassle. I'm going to select the 4 that I decided to do roughs of. Just like that. So my computer is okay with that. Try that one more time. There we go. All right, and then this one. And then finally, the bottom right one. These are just the ones I selected. All right, save that. Now, copy the rough, paste it on down. Now, I'm okay right now with doing a destructive edit on the correct layer because... Why? This is just kind of a rough example. Now, if this is your only copy, be careful. Make this a smart object. But when you turn it in, I don't want any smart objects. I just want the actual layer. So you're going to rasterize that. This is rough 1. And again, I'm just going to level it straight in. That's a lot easier to see. Okay. Good time to save. I still have my copyright free folder from earlier. Grab rough 2. It's a big one. Almost there. All right. Marquee tool. Control C. Control V. It is way too large. Control T. Hold the constrain key down if you need to, which is shift. If it's locked in place, you don't need to. That's fine. Just like that. There we go. And again, I'm going to level this. It's easier to see. And this will be rough 2. I think you're getting the idea, yeah? Let's grab the last 2. 3 and 4. So come on into 3. Copy that. Paste that in. Control T. Rough 3. Control L. Save that. Rough 4. Control T. Resize it. Now, what if you really want to impress me on this? Well, let me first level this. Oh, that looks good. One thing that would make me very happy is to actually have white all the way around these so that I can just turn them on and off and see them directly. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key and duplicate this white layer a few times. And all I'm going to do is Control E to merge down, Control E to merge down, Control E to merge down, Control E to merge down. Now be careful. Notice it renamed it. So title all of these correctly. Rough 1, Rough 2, Rough 3, Rough 4. All right. So that's the roughs. Then maybe leave on the one that you decide to do the comp of. Leave the others off, and we'll look at those. And then we need the comp. So if you've done the comp on something else, go ahead and bring that in. And then paste it over. You can do the comp in Photoshop or on honestly anything. I just want to see the important text put in, some more thought on the details, the arrangements. Well, you saw the rest of it. Now this one should be 8.5 by 11. Sure enough. All right, and if I'm a little worried about that, what am I going to do? Fill this with white. You saw that there is a little edge. Merge down. Call this comp. All right, save it, and it is ready to be turned in. Remember, there are no smart objects in it. It's just flat out what it is, and that brings it to just 23 megabytes in size. It'll take a little bit to upload, but that will be sufficient. And there you have it. That is the oh, I missed. Make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. So yeah, good thing to double check. Turn on and off the groupings. Doesn't hurt to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. I might even rearrange these. So it starts at the top. We got the comp. All right. Everything is good to go. For funsies, go ahead and just leave the thumbnails on so that we can guess our way up as to what you decided on. We have a white background, which makes everything easier to see. And I don't recall if that needs to be called background. It looks like it should be called background. So we'll go ahead and leave that background and we will be set. That's everything. Okay, thank you so much for sticking with me. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. At this point, you'll want to start looking at styles of things to start deciding what you might want to attempt to create for your final project style-wise. Again, don't stress out on this one. It takes a while just because there's so much to it. But it shouldn't be something you're pulling your hair out on. A lot of people hate the thumbnails, but it's so important. And once you get through them, you might start thinking, man, actually, I want to do like a couple more of this one thumbnail. And that's fine. You can do that if you want. But I don't need more than 25 for this. And if you start doing roughs and you're like, man, I'd love to do this rough again, well, maybe that's the one that you want to do for your comp. You can do more on the side, of course, but for my assignment, I just need the 4. That's what I want for it. Okay, and that should be 4 different roughs in this case. In the real world, you would do multiple roughs until you're comfortable with what you're doing, resizing, moving things around, and all that. But yeah, that's a long assignment. It takes a long time, even though it's not all that hard, just the nitty gritty of assembly. Make sure you have the right file size, make sure you don't have any smart objects, you have the right number of layers, everything's named correctly. You'll get a good grade on this. All right, thank you so much. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the flip side.